There you are. Okay, everyone. I think we got it. 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 Gallery view. Welcome. There you are. Okay, everyone. I think we got it. 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 Gallery view. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Hi, guys. So good to see you. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We are going to record this. We are also live streaming to YouTube. We are creating community. We know more than ever we need to come together in presence and space. So let me just go ahead and record. Hello, recording is in progress. Welcome to Life Cafe. Life Cafe has been something that I wanted to do for years and years and years. And when the pandemic started in 2020, March 2020, it was the perfect time, right? And we put 3 up a week to meet in community. Well, here we are, and this is been such a blessing and a gift to be in this space. It's almost like catching your breath, grounding ourselves again, kind of slowing down. And we need things like this more than ever. So we wanted to invite, and again, we invite everyone to this space. It's a place simply to get together in global community, to meet in presence with no judgment, to listen to each other, to hear each other, and just enjoy the gratitude of this moment, but also to share, what's happening in our world and to hold that love in our heart and open it, which I know can be very challenging at times. I understand that there's so much going on, but we have to remember that where we focus our energies for the predominant amount of time during the day is really what's being sent out there. So yeah, we all are seeing what's going on and it is unbelievable. What can we do? We can be kind to one another, we can be present, but we can also send out that love and hold that intention and even dialogue about things that we maybe even can put in place that can make change. So this is our space. And again, beautiful awareness and moment just being present right here. So I am going to allow you to take over the group, whoever would like to share if there's something going on. And of course, I think there's lots of things going on, and this is a place of honesty and just, again, sometimes just sharing what's going on inside of you can shift that energy or move that energy, and for us to be able to bear witness with one another. So it's always so fascinating. I look at the picture, I look at the blue skies, and it's like you look at nature. And yesterday I was walking my dog, and I had a challenging day yesterday. I think we're all challenged, right? And really heaviness upon us. Yeah. And I came around a corner, and it was a sunny day and it was lovely. And I noticed that and gratitude for that. But I came around the corner and there were just the squeals of these little kids playing outside, just squealing in happiness and laughter. And I just watched for a little bit. It was kindergartners, it looked like, in one section, and then there were younger ones latter, and just, the presence that they have with each other, but the sun was shining and finding joy, and just watching them just lightened my heart. It was just like taking this, big breath in. And so we want to find those moments. But when you go out and you see nature and you see children and you see animals, for the most part, it's like they're blissfully unaware of some of the heaviness. So find those moments for yourself, okay? Because they can really be those times that you can recalibrate a bit and get back to. Relentless intensity of stress is not going to serve you. It's not going to serve the whole. So, and I'm not saying that we're pretending things aren't happening. Of course not. This is happening to all of us. It happens to one of us. It happens to all of us. But how do we become constructive? How can we send out love? And I've had to catch myself quite a few times, super, angry, obviously, of what's happening, and then try to focus more on, okay, what do we need out there? What love do we need out there? What compassion? What energy do I want to send out there? So welcome to Life Cafe. I'm going to let you all take over. Whoever would like to share, you can raise your hand. This is a free, beautiful, non-judgmental space. It's all good. It's all perfect. Whatever you want to say and share or ask or contribute, whatever it is, please don't feel shy. These are intense times. I don't have to tell you that. So who would like to start us off? You can raise your hand or you can just simply unmute yourself. Yeah, Diane, beautiful.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I wanted to thank you and Nicole being in that mentor group. I'll still try to catch up and see what's going on, but I'm just so grateful to be with this group. It's quite the privilege to be able to come and be amongst what I might call my tribe and have the conversations and with your leadership. I'm always telling everybody, I'm glad I'm studying with you, Suzanne.
Oh, thank you.
And I do have a first client, which has been a very interesting experience. And I tell you, I sat in a meeting with a team group with the hospice nurse in the nursing home. I just felt so excited to be able to advocate for my client. The wife hired me. It's just a beautiful thing. So thank you. And thank you to the whole team of your people that are working behind the scenes.
Yeah, they're pretty extraordinary. This whole community, and I have gratitude every single day, multiple times a day, for being blessed to just be amongst all of you and having this, because it's the collective energy that is healing and is transformative. And also, while there's so much challenge that we see, there's also so much good stuff going on, and you are that. I'm not getting political. I'm just talking about the state of what's happening. But if you did hear the State of the Union address, there's many things that we want to take away. There's two things with us that I want to highlight, is talking about nursing homes and talking about care and raising that up. So, gosh, the blessings of COVID. I know that sounds crazy, but I always think what's here for us to be able to take away from this time. And it's all that we're connected. All of us, doesn't matter where in the world you were located. COVID hit all of us. We're all connected in this beautiful thing called humanity. We got to get on that same page. But it also shined a light on the nursing home system. And not going to go down rabbit holes. However, we know that our elder population is really the forgotten population right now. We know that we have an aging care crisis. We know that we don't have the setup to accommodate them and the whole thing. So I love that. And the second part is I loved the spotlight on veterans as well. And we have a division of 1 million people trained of how to care for someone who's dying the good death, a veterans edition. We have a beautiful woman who's worked with veterans. She's, a former military, has worked in that space. They've been the hardest end of lives that I've had. And we're developing a specific level 1 training, veterans edition, for that population. And I would love to see us be able to just give this out, train caregivers, train, hear this, veterans to be the doulas for other veterans, giving them back that purpose. And that is a relationship that only they know. So you guys, when there's so much heaviness, there's so much light as well. Please have that faith and please keep pointing in that direction, because it's there and it's unfolding in front of us. So there's so much good around that. It's nice to be able to feel excited about something, especially with what we're going through. So I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, Melissa, you, my dear, are next.
I just wanted to follow up a little bit on the State of the Union, because
Sure.
As somebody who personally was in that building for more than a decade, my husband for 3, sitting there listening to those things, following up, writing about all the reactions to them and everything, and watching them on TV is really amazing now, when the coverage is so wonderful that everyone around the world can see it. Yeah. And I, for those of you who don't know me, know that my most of my association with the Congress in Washington was nonpartisan. So everything that I say comes from a nonpartisan point of view as well. I'm not getting into the politics, quote unquote. However, Nancy, you go down to reactions and click on the little hand. So last night was really a watershed moment for me as an American because of the optimism and the positivity that came from our president in that. It was remarkable. I don't know who wrote the speech, but first of all, we're seeing something around the world that is such a beautiful thing. Countries that have never before been involved or engaged, countries who swore they would never send a weapon or anything, have been so moved by the passion of these people who are just trying to live their lives without provocation or anything. And the unanimity around the world is just amazing, both militarily, economically, financially, health-wise. So that's the first thing. That's just the most amazing positive energy I've ever seen in my entire life. The second thing is, in the lead up to it, if you want to break down the content a little bit, a lot of people advised the president to focus on Ukraine and not talk about his domestic policy initiatives, which he did go into at quite some, not a lot, but about a third of the speech was about Ukraine. But he did towards the end go through the ones that he's particularly interested in. And I wanted to just say two quick things about this. One is the ones he spoke about were all of the initiatives that have bipartisan support on both sides of the political aisle, have supported all of those types of programming in one way or another. And those are the things, he is a pragmatist. He has been in as a senator 30 years. He was in the Senate since he was in his 20s. And he knows what can and can't be done. And so that shows you where they see the lines about the types of things that can be accomplished. And so I say to everyone, don't pay attention to polls, which are out of the moment. A lot of people in the country, it's true, they think the president can change inflation. He can't. No president can. They think they don't. As I may have mentioned before, in all of my training, I used to teach delegations from around the world that came to Washington to learn about the US government. Democracy is different in different countries around the world. Mm-hmm. In this country, most Americans don't appreciate that. They just don't know it. No one's ever taught them this one simple fact. 95% of the democracies in the world are not like ours. We live in a presidential democracy where our legislature, who is elected by the people, and the president and the judiciary are three separate branches of our government with equal power, theoretically. 90% of the democracies in the world, 95% of them, are parliamentary democracies. They elect a parliament, they elect their legislature, and that's who decides who is the prime minister or whatever the head title is for their head of state. And it's a very, very different form of government that we have. It's made to be messy. And so we get frustrated when things don't turn on a dime. But when you listen to what he talked about, how in 2 years, we climbed out of COVID and how we now have the tools to go back to normal, that not that no one's going to get it or it's gone, but that if you get it, we have tons of testing available now, free testing for everyone. And you're now going to be able to go to a drugstore and get tested. And if you're positive, they're going to give you the pills right there on the spot. And you will not have to end up in the hospital or die. So that's the first thing. Yeah. The second thing is, if you're going to get involved in politics or pay attention to politics or take on your own views based on what you hear politically, don't do it based on what you see online or on the internet or even in some of our newspapers. Do some research because, and I'll just give you an example. The president was talking last night about the infrastructure that is crumbling all across this country and how much money the bipartisan infrastructure bill is going to pour into fixing our roads and bridges and all that stuff that definitely needs to be done. My governor, who is a very conservative, is a Republican in Florida who's going to challenge Trump for the nomination. He's been traveling all over the state of Florida, bragging about all of this infrastructure. It's on the front page of our newspaper today. And he opposed all of it. And our senators voted against all of it. And yet they're going all over the state and others are doing it all over the country, taking credit for all of this great domestic funding that we so badly need that they all voted against. So I'm just saying, take everything with a grain of salt and scratch below the surface if you're going to become politically motivated by what you hear in social media or other things like that. Be skeptical and remember our high school and college skills and question everything, because it isn't always what it seems. I just want to close again with back to what I said in the beginning, which was amazing bipartisanship last night. You saw Republicans on their feet many times for the Senate president, which we have not seen in recent years. We saw just incredible support mutually. You know, many people may not realize, but there's a long-standing tradition in Washington, in the Congress, that you do not speak negatively of your country or your president while there is a war going on, while there are military actions going on. Now, we're not directly engaged in this war, but, you know, we consider ourselves on a warlike footing right now. And it's very important as a country that no matter who our president is, when we're engaged in something overseas, you don't speak publicly against them. It's just not done. And of course, our last administration threw out a lot of the rules of things that we did, and that's their right to do. But I just say that last night was a phenomenal show of bipartisanship and positivity and support. And I haven't seen this country come together on any one thing since, really since 9/11, I guess, and since healthcare reform was passed. And so healthcare definitely stands to benefit over this president. Don't believe that I don't know which Congress, who's going to be in charge come November, but don't assume what the polls say today or what anything says on TV or what the people that are getting paid just to talk and be opposition. I'll say I'm talking too long, but I just want to say it was a happy night, I thought.
Yes.
And I'm so proud of our president for restoring our relationships with all of the countries around the world that are so important to us. It's so important that we all get along together, whether it's NATO, whether it's the EU, whatever it is. We need to be working together. And one more example I want to give you that really, don't let it shake you. You saw some news reports yesterday about how Africans are not being allowed to leave the Ukraine. And that white people are getting priorities on the trains. And I was pretty upset when I read this. So I spent a lot of time studying this yesterday. The Ukrainian government, the president, has specifically ordered that African nationals be able to get back to their home countries on an equal footing with anybody from any other country in the world. All right. And now I don't know whether that has to get filtered down to the train monitors or the border patrol, but whatever, that is the policy of the country. And there's a lot of, these people that like to put out fake news to try to make things look bad. They want to make Zelensky look bad. Again, look into anything you see that's negative on either side, if you want, and check the validity of what it is. Just don't spread stuff that you're not positive is correct, I guess is what I'm saying. I try to do my research before I share things. I'll shut up now.
We never want you to be quiet. It was, I'm going to get emotional because this is just such an emotional time. It was such a beautiful moment last night. You're right, of coming together. And it took this insane circumstance, not a global pandemic, to bring us together. It's taking this direct, clear, heinous situation to crack open all of our hearts, because there's not one person, well, maybe there's one out there, that person, that can't see that, gosh, this is just not acceptable on so many levels. President Biden is such a good man. He's a good person. And that comes across in he wants the good for people. So there's so much love last night, and I really want to ride that wave. I don't want to go down too much else, but I love that Melissa said, if you see something negative, and here's what I will share with you. Whenever somebody is trying to provoke a reaction, you want to say to yourself, where's that coming from, right? Because even when we share in our Doulagiver world statistics that are, saying that we need change, we do it with love. And we literally say that we've lost our way for multiple reasons. We're not trying to point fingers. We're trying to say, hey, look, this isn't right. We're going to help families, patients, medical staff together, and everyone around the world to walk forward together. So if you see somebody put out a headline or something, yeah, look into it, but also be very careful not to go down, again, that all automatic heavy thing, because this just provoking people is so very destructive. So it's a beautiful moment. There's a lot of love out there. And yeah, if somebody thought that because people were divided, that this was going to go, without cause for like a lot of people getting involved, well, hello, it just united the world. So thank you for that. Thank you for your input, Melissa. And yes, and yes. We have Nancy, and then we have Bobby. Hey, Nancy. Where are you, my dear? Hold on. You got to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Okay. Now you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to just first of all, thank you, Suzanne, for holding this space. Like I came to your public library things a long time ago.
Yeah.
And, and I joined because I wanted, my mother at that time had just been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and was starting to have trouble living by herself. And I wanted to, understand death more easily. And subsequently, now she's getting to the end. And I feel like I never quite got as much as I wanted to with this work because of the drudgery and the craziness of just trying to manage her and my father. He has Alzheimer's too. But, and so now she's in this rehab. She broke her femur. She's crazy. She's angry. She's very violent. My father is still in memory care and he can still talk, but he can't remember anything. And I guess what I'm getting to here, they're in Washington, D.C., and I'm in New York, and I'm getting ready to go down there because I have this very deep premonition that the end is coming. But my siblings, I have 4 sisters and a brother, and they're just like in denial, and they did agree to a hospice evaluation, and so that's sort of happening. But it's this personal dilemma of, I have this very strong sense when I've seen my mom on Zoom, okay, like she's more than half out.
Yeah.
And you can't really have a conversation with her. But so I guess what my inner struggle that I'm sharing today is just this, like I have this strong feeling, but there's no outward support. And I also so we moved my parents into memory care in November to a very expensive place because of the safety factor with my mom. And so I've been seeing what you do not get, even from a very high-end facility that plays a lot of lip service to honoring life. And now my mom's in this rehab facility that's, covered by Medicare, but they don't feed. If somebody's not there, my mother doesn't eat because my mother doesn't know that that's food. And so somebody has to be there, and then somebody has to be managing my father. And there's just all kinds of crazy stuff that everybody's putting this effort into forcing my mom into physical therapy. She sleeps 20 hours a day and she fights all the time. And, so it's just like this personal dilemma. I think it's fabulous that Biden is talking about long-term care facilities, but what I see, what I'm witnessing right now is just, it's very hard to honor this life, or I watched your podcast about the visitations, the bedside visitations. A year ago, my father-in-law passed, and he didn't have dementia. He was 97. And he just started saying one day, I'm leaving. Call everybody. I'm leaving. And the relatives were like, Dad, your heart's fine. Your vitals are fine. And then he's saying, I saw my mother, and I'm like, and the rest of the family is like, he's crazy. So it's still very hard to, like, I said to my sisters, well, have you asked Mom if she's ready to die? And they're like, what are you, crazy? I'm not going to do that. So now I'm actually going down there and I'm going to ask her.
Yeah.
But anyway, if anybody has any suggestions,
I'm sure this amazing group does. So many things here. The first is when you mentioned that we were together in person in our library groups, it was like, I love that. And I cannot wait to get back to that. I love being in community. So that was a real honor for me. There's a lot going on here. So again, I'm going to try and share what I heard, and then you can correct me. You do have a hospice evaluation coming, and I think that's a very important part to it. And then when you said not much support, I just want to make sure I understand where that you're feeling from your family, from the actually facility, or both, that you don't have that support in that area, that there's a dilemma here, and that you feel pulled to go because you think the end is coming, which I will tell you, that will never steer you wrong. You will never regret, and always trust that you don't need anyone to say, yes, you can do that, or no, follow that if that's what's meant. But then I know there's usually a lot of elements surrounding with family members and things like that, and people on different levels of acceptance and things. So meet people where they are with no judgment. I know that can be difficult, but and it sounds like you've got your family on board for this hospice consultation. If she does get approved for that, and it sounds like she should be, that can change the dynamic, because now you have that focus of comfort care, but you'll have other disciplines on it. You have people working with your family as well. And I think that you will get more of the support that you need, but you can tell me if I didn't get that correct.
No, you got it pretty well. She had the hospice evaluation, and the issue is, well, there's a couple, that the memory care facility where they have, both my parents have been living, does not have skilled nursing. Mm-hmm. And because my mother's behavior was so violent prior to the broken femur, they said she can only come back if she's on hospice, but that we have to hire a full-time aide at our expense, because they don't provide that. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so that's a challenge, but she did get approved. We had the evaluation last week for the hospice, and she could qualify, but at the rehab where she is, they have more skilled nursing to just manage her, but she has to participate in the physical therapy. But where my sisters are stuck, is the no life-saving measures. Okay. So it's a daunting situation, because
for sure
is crazy too. Okay. And he needs constant management as well. And so this task of moving her, I mean, I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to be there Saturday, but my POA sister and two other heavy hitting sisters don't like this idea of no more life-saving measures.
Okay. So I want to put this into a couple of buckets, because you have a lot going on here, and I want to see, and then we can let other people chime in if they'd like. The rehab, and that your mother will have to do rehab. Well, that's bonkers to me. She can't do rehab. She's going into hospice care. Let's see if there's a different scenario. Okay, that's one. And I know that's not easy to accomplish, but that's just one thing. The second thing, and I really want you to hear this, okay, Nancy, is that your family is not on board with these, not life-saving measures, do not make this all on you. When hospice comes in, have the hospice nurse, have the social worker, have the doctor tell your family with love where your mom is in her journey. Because here's what I'm going to share with you. Sometimes as a hospice nurse, as a doula giver, I would come into scenarios and I would say something to the patient and the patient say, okay. And I'd walk out and the family said, we've been telling her that for a week. How come she said yes to you? So and it's just the way it is. And sometimes hearing it from somebody else, a doctor, medical, will land. So this is a very hard place for people because we don't want to admit that our parent is maybe at that space. And again, the more education we can do before we ever get there is the answer. But right now we're dealing with the crisis mode and right up against it. They're scared because if they say no life-saving measures and something happens, they know that they're not, but this is the natural course of life. Let the doctors share, let them talk with them. And also I'm just wanting to see again, what you can put in place for support for her to get hospice care without having to do physical therapy. Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm sort of, right. I agree. And I appreciate what you said about the staff and letting them talk. I think my POA sister just doesn't want, she's actually told a friend of mine who went over there to visit to give me her opinion that she doesn't want to admit that my mom is slipping away.
Yeah.
Okay. So she has sort of admitted that to one person, but outwardly she doesn't. And then I guess my feeling is this fear, or that I have this fantasy of being more, bringing more spirituality into her passing. Okay. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like she's in this facility and there's limited visitors allowed, and it's not, I don't know what I can do, but I mean, I'll find out once I get there. But
and please remember, you can create an atmosphere of, pictures and candles and flowers that really, and even low tone music that can be playing that really, I've walked into stark white hospital doors that when you pass that threshold, there was a completely different energy and scenario going in each room, even though the outside looked it, because you created that energy. So there are things that you can do. And if you're not in the training and membership site, because there's so many wonderful people in there, Nicole, if you would be kind enough to put that link in the chat for Nancy, I'd like you to join. That's just a Facebook group of all these amazing people that give suggestions and things like that, because I feel like you're going to have a rotating kind of situation here that you might want to pop in and ask some questions. And that's a really great place to get answers.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And and I also just want to say that I admire you so much for creating this and for just like me knowing that this kind of thing exists, because I feel like if I have actually mentioned Doulagivers, end of life doulas, and even at the memory care when we were interviewing facilities, I asked that question about, they like never heard of it, even at these fancy places that my parents can afford, I can't afford them, but so the dilemma, I guess, or the need for courage, I feel like, is that you're just educating these people, and then there's all this turnover in these facilities of the staff, so there isn't consistent relationships that you can build with the care. That's another problem about the memory care facility. There's too much turnover.
Yeah, for sure. And you can probably understand why, when it's not run well and it's not a stable model, the whole thing just from the top down doesn't work. So thank you for those beautiful, kind words. And again, the Doula House vision is very much alive. And that's what we hope to have options for people to have holistic care in a loving family style. It's going to be amazing. So we hold that vision because we need it. And Thank you, Nancy. So we will continue with the love and thinking about you and the support here. Okay, Bobby, Carla, and then Andrea.
Excuse me. So I'm a little hoarse. So.
Okay.
Nancy, just want to reiterate that sometimes having a family meeting and discussing what do they mean by life-saving measures,
Yep.
and if they can gradate it in a way that, like, sometimes food and water is more life-saving to people than CPR is, especially when they know how horrible CPR can be to someone who really won't work on. So think of that as a possible group dynamic that you can get going with somebody leading from hospice to help you educate your family and take it one step at a time. And I just wanted to say thank you for the beginning of this program with Melissa and everybody, because the one thing I was really having trouble with is all the divisiveness and everything. So I found something on Facebook that I sent out to my friends today. I don't know if you can see it. Try. But this was on Facebook. Isn't that cool?
Oh, that's cool. I can't. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So that's something.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. And it lifted my heart because I said, yes, we are doing this. And there are people in Russia demonstrating against Putin's decision, which that's unheard of in Russia, that they're able to do that. Then now they're getting arrested, but there's too many of them. So I think there's hope. And when there's hope, there's life. I just want to share that.
There's so many good people in the world, and this is showing it. This is spotlighting it. We don't hear about that on the news. We don't, look, social media, good and bad, right? And there's a lot there that's not great. But and you hear all these, because it flashes, all these negative and people spew things. There's so many good people in the world, and you're seeing it right now, and you're seeing it in every corner of the world, and they're getting together. Bobby, can you please share that graphic with our certified practitioners group? I am gonna plaster that all over. Let's just share it, guys. That is the sweetest picture, and I thank you so much. Thank you.
I have trouble posting on the Facebook group because I'm not real. I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
So, can I
Nicole?
email it to you?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Is it, let me ask you this. Is it on your Facebook page?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
So
it's on somebody else's Facebook page.
You can mail it to me. We'll get it and we'll spread it out there. Thank you so much, my love.
You're welcome.
Carla and then Andrea.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. I'm really sad that I missed the State of the Union. I'm going to have to pull it up and watch it, a replay of it or something.
Yeah.
I was actually talking with one of our doulas in California, networking and getting information.
Nice.
But to Nancy, coming from a 30-year background as a physical therapist and working in skilled nursing facilities, in the short term, I would directly make a call to the director of nursing at the facility and discuss the fact that your mother can't feed herself and somebody needs to do that, period. If it doesn't happen and it's not happening when you get there on Saturday, call the state ombudsman, because that's neglect, first off, because she's paying to be there and they should be able to feed her. Unfortunately, the Medicare regs for an orthopedic injury are only going to pay for her skilled stay if she is participating in therapy. Right. And I agree with you, she's probably not. So I go out to you with, my heart goes out to you with everything, with your dad and your mom and your family. Just know, I just know in your heart, you're doing everything you can and what feels right. And I commend you for that. The other thing that I wanted to share briefly is that I actually have a close family member that's Ukrainian. Her parents and her brother were born there. She was first generation born here, married to my uncle. And her parents were I was really close with them. Strong Ukrainian people. Busha and Jaj were amazing. And I thought of them when I heard the story, and I'm not sure if you guys heard this, but a little old grandma in the Ukraine, in her babushka and her winter hat, goes up to these Russian soldiers and basically reprimands them for being there, and then tells them to put sunflower seeds in their pocket. So when their bodies are dead and decomposed, at least something beautiful will come out of it. Can you imagine? Like, that's strength, right? Like, I just can't even imagine living in a country like that and being in that situation and thinking that, you know, it just baffles my mind. Anyway, that's all I got. So
that was a lot. And thank you very much from your background that you were able to help Nancy with some concrete information there.
Anytime.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I know this is just, everyone knows this, but always do the right thing in life. Always do the right thing in your heart. Don't look at anyone else. Just always say to yourself, is this the right thing to do? Is this the right thing to say? I don't care about anything else. And I just a little thing about CPR for just for Nancy. When people are at the end of life, and I think that was such a great thing, Bobby, for you to share about the clarity around that, because you take some tangible, concrete things. You know, there are times that people are not DNRs, which is a do not resuscitate. They have advanced cancer, they're advanced age, have metastases all over. And if they do not have a DNR in the hospital, by law, the medical staff is required to perform CPR. And I remember in the oncology unit having a very frail little woman who had cancer all over, and she was my patient, and she had no DNR. And they said, well, you have to, and I would break all of her ribs. I knew. Plus, what is that going to do? So now I'm going to do CPR. If we get her back breathing, if her heart stopped, she'd have a breathing tube. She has advanced cancer all over. She has no quality of life. It's not for me to decide. However, I'm just putting the facts out there, but I'm not going to break her ribs by my hands. For what reason? So it kind of put the pressure on the doctor, on the staff to say, talk to this family. Have this honest conversation and get a DNR. Within 45 minutes, they got a DNR and she had a code. So it's just important. And thank you for that, because I think practical things are very important as well, and to know what context. Andrea.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it's a perfect segue, because what I would actually, before Nancy even spoke up, I was going to bring this up, which is that and by the way, Nancy, I'm in Northern Virginia, so near the DC area. I don't know where your parents are, but I'm here, and I did DM you my contact information. But I was at a facility this morning, meeting with a new patient, and I got a little bold. I don't think I've done this with other, because I'm just a visitor in that capacity through the hospice. I got a little bold. I was having a great conversation with this man. His mind is fine. He's 91. I know this is live. So, but anyway, the point being that I asked him if he had a living will, and he said yes. He said, I'm at the end of my life, and I have a DNR. And I looked around the room, and I thought to myself, and I asked him, I said, well, do you have a bracelet? Where is it shown? And he was like, oh, well, my son has it. Where's your son? Oh, he's in some other state. I said, okay, well, it's possible that this nursing facility has it, and I'll check on the way out to make sure if you're okay with that. And he said, sure, yeah, I want to make sure that, because my son's a paramedic, and he complains just exactly the same thing that that Suzanne just talked about, which is he hates, not being able to find that elusive DNR.
Yeah.
And so I did go out to the nursing station, and I asked the lovely lady there. It was the third time I had to approach her because he hadn't been changed. He had called for help. He needed to be changed. I was there an hour before anybody came. But anyway, so I asked her, I said, if this man has a DNR, I said, wouldn't it be better to have it printed and put on the wall in the room? Because if he has a heart attack, and my son and his unit show up, they're not going to know everybody's coordinated, but I'm telling you, the staffing is short. They're not going to know to go look in a system for the DNR.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was like, oh, please do that for me. Oh, that would be great. And so she said, yes, she would print it out and have it on his wall.
You know how major that is, Andrea?
It was like, it was so simple
This
too.
should be this, and I'm not trying to diminish all of this, but this should be 101. Not for you, for the staffing and everybody. This should be 101. And because I think we're so fragmented and so stressed, and everything is just these little things that the doula givers are bringing in, the clarity and awareness change everything at times, just like that. Just like somebody not being fed or whatever it is, that's a major, major thing. So you just help the patient, their family, the staff. So like it's win, 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 and we love a win, win, win. So thank you so much for that. And I just want people to hear, and there's no judgment here, but the sooner we bring back the sacredness and the natural experience that end of life is, and all of its teachings and glory around it, practical, spiritual, all of that, the better off we're all going to be, right? Because then we're not going to be caught in these moments. But thank goodness that you are all out there in the world doing that education and support. I thank you so very much. You know, I have to say that it seems very strange in one sense that when this is one of the heaviest times, I feel so inspired and happy at this today, at this moment with all of you. And I think that when we talk about this a lot in life, when things are painful and traumatic, that on the other side, or there can be, again, and I know that there usually are, breakthroughs that are bringing us to a better place. So I just want you to hold in your heart that trust and belief, but I also at the same time need you to take care of yourself on the daily, okay? Because it's like, if we get here and we have this conversation, there's so much beautiful energy here that goes out into the world, that intention and love. And we can't do that if, again, we're going to be what I call, it's really an undertow. I feel like it's this undertow, like if you don't use your tools to ground yourself, it's so very easy to get swept away in that, you know, fear, anger. And believe me, I understand it. We're not negating that, but I also know that I'm probably not going to contribute anything. If I'm part of that, I want to be, okay, what can we do? What can we do? But in the meantime, please take care of yourself as best you can. One fun fact, I talk about 444 all the time. I talk about the angels. That's the number. The library that Nancy came to see me at was 444 Amsterdam. Not kidding. I only found that out much later after doing many of the life cafes, when I was going down to Florida in the last few months to see St. Petersburg, and I'm going to share these screenshots because I took them. In 5 hours and 21 minutes, you're going to reach your destination at 444. You can't plan that. Very interesting. So I just want to let you know that I know for certain in my heart that the world is always, you know, the universe and the world is always working for your behalf. And sometimes that is extremely hard to see. Allow yourself the grace to be gentle with you, be compassionate with one another and present, and see what love we can put out in the world. So thank you all so much. We're going to bring in our prayer at this time. It's our meditation. And today we're going to spend a great amount of time with the visualization of Ukraine, what that looks like, holding them in the light, and of course, holding our entire world in the light. This is what we can do. And this is what we are doing, amongst other things. But this is big, because where you focus your energy, it goes. And right now, the world needs us to focus that high frequency. All right, everyone, if you are comfortable, you can close your eyes, and we're just going to do 3 deep breaths. Get settled and grounded. I want you to notice how your body feels when you do 3 deep breaths. We really don't know how to breathe. And I'm guilty of that too. A lot of times we're holding our breath, especially when things are stressful. When you take a really beautiful, deep cleansing breath, it literally settles your nervous system. And we've got to do things to regulate the stress that we're constantly, unfortunately, subjected to. So this is one of them. So I want you to just note how you feel after the 3 breaths. Just take that awareness. Okay. You're going to breathe in through your nose like you're breathing a beautiful flower, and then out through your mouth. We're going to hold for a second if you can. And again, on the breath out, we're going to let go of everything and anything that does not serve our highest consciousness. Breathe in and hold and let it go. Breathe in and hold. Let it go. Breathe in and hold and let it go. Just notice how you feel. And now you imagine that you are outside and the clouds, they part and the sun is so bright right above your head. And that sun now is coming right above the top of your head and opening up the top of your head. You may feel a little tingling and it's pouring into your body, beautiful, loving, unconditional, golden light. You feel an incredible amount of peace and serenity. You feel connected to everyone and everything. You are so present in this moment. And now that beautiful golden light is going down your spine, going through your chakras and washing away anything and everything that does not serve your highest consciousness. Going through your root chakra, which is at the base of your spine, into the center of the earth, swirling around, now coming back up and bursting up your spine. And again, washing away anything and everything that is not serving your highest consciousness, going up to that high sun. As it comes down now, it's going to expand about 6 feet from your physical body, and all of your aura, all of your cells are going to be bathed in this loving, joyful light. It's just washing over you, going down your spine, through your root chakra to the center of the earth. Now it's swirling around the center of the earth, picking up momentum. When it comes back up, we are going to, with intention, send this loving light out through our heart chakra to each and every one in this group, and then to the world at large. If you are called to, you can put your hands over your heart chakra, and as this light comes up with intention, send it through your heart chakra to each and every one in this group. Here it comes, swirling around each and every one of you. We're going to include your family members and community members. This light is going to get larger and larger and larger. We send love, we send healing, we send connection, we send peace. Please take the state and/or province that you live in and picture it in your mind's eye and surround it in a golden bubble of light. That everyone in that state is sent this loving energy. Please take the country that you live in. Picture it in your mind's eye and surround it in a golden bubble of light. And just hold that light over that country at this moment. I ask you now to open your heart chakra as wide as it can be. Picture Ukraine in your mind's eye and surround Ukraine in a golden pyramid of light. You may see the faces of people you've seen on the news, the president, his family, the soldiers, the family members. Let each and every being, every animal, every blade of grass, everyone in Ukraine be surrounded by our love. I ask you to hold this light and intention around Ukraine continuously. Think of it periodically in the day, with every breath that we take, with every beat of our heart. Let's acknowledge this bubble of light around Ukraine. Send that love, hold them. We are with you. And now at this time, take the earth globe in your mind's eye and surround it in a golden pyramid. That every country, that every being, that every part of nature, every animal is sent this loving light of forgiveness, of healing, of peace, and of love. At this time, please add in anyone or anything you would like this group healing and intention sent to. And at this time, may we ask to be seen, shown, and know how to show up to be of the highest service today for everyone in this world and always. You can breathe into that. And let us give gratitude and thanks for being able to be a part of this journey at this time. When you are ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. Thank you all so very much for everything that you do, that you are. You are incredible human beings, and I am so honored to be on this journey with you. If you need anything, let us know. We will see you in that Facebook. I will get that picture from Bobby and I will share it, share it, share it. I love you guys so very much. Let's throw up some hearts. I'm gonna take I know that you just did. If you want to do it again, let's do that. Smile. Love you guys so much. Have an absolutely beautiful day. Mwah. We will see you soon.